and welcome. Today is number 2 in a 3-part series of Being Yourself. Today I'm touching on a little personal item that I'm so ready to kick to the curb. I've carried it for way too long. Your life, your way. It is about being who we truly are, not living our lives based on how others think that we should. So, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy this episode. And remember, your life is your gift to live your way. Hello. Welcome to Your Life, Your Way. I'm your host, Kathleen McDermott. And I want to do a segment, part 2 of Being Yourself. I shared a post in my online Facebook private group today. And it was something that was personal to me. Something that, with all the, I say work, which I'm going to touch on that difference between the word work and practice as well. But it's with all the work that I've done since I had my own personal awakening to my role in life. It's still, I've let go of so much and I've released so much, but this is something that has just continued to stay with me. And it has to do with, believe it or not, it sounds ridiculous, but I'm sure there are going to be some of you that can relate. Makeup versus no makeup. Now, I will admit, I like how I feel and look when I'm wearing makeup, when I'm dressed a particular way. I think we can all agree that we definitely feel different than when we're, dolled up, as the saying goes, versus, in our sweats and our comfy clothes. It's a different feeling. I think we carry ourselves differently depending on how we are dressed. But makeup versus no makeup. There's a personal reason, an occurrence in my life that just stuck with me, and not in a good way, to have me feel that I should wear makeup all the time. And that's just kind of, I don't know, it's just stuck. And it just seems like such a ridiculous thing because I don't go around worrying what other people think. It's just a ridiculous way to live our lives. But this just stuck with me. So I said, it's a cycle. I've continued to want to break cycles, that anything that is not serving me is sure as heck is not going to serve my loved ones. So I said, this has really been on my mind, and I know it's been on my mind for a reason, and it's time to really look at it and cut it loose so that I can break another cycle. It's nothing that needs to be passed on to anyone else. And I don't mean this specific thing, but it's an energy that passes on, and it teaches our children. And I'll give you another example as to how that works. So many of us, and I can't speak to men, but so many of us as women, we develop early, the psyche, the thinking of we have to look a certain way. Our bodies have to weigh a certain amount, or we can't be too big, too thin, too this, too that. And it's not healthy. It's just not healthy. And society teaches that if you're not this size, remember when it used to be, 24, 36, 24, or was it, 36, 24, 36 were the optimal measurements. Used to hear about, some of you might be too young to remember hearing that, but you know what I mean? I mean, just look at advertising, marketing. And we know, which we're not going to get into that, but we know that these women that we see, whether they be in films or commercials or advertisements in a magazine, they're touched up. They're made to look, and I don't like this word, the perfect image, that word perfect. So it isn't real. And let's talk about real, being ourselves, being you. What does that mean? Who is your authentic, real self? And honestly, if I am still holding on to that, oh my gosh, I have to wear makeup all the time, that's not being true to myself or being authentic or being really me either. So as I said, it's time to cut that loose, let it go, kick it to the curb. But I want to use it as an example, as an inspiration to have you take a moment to just pause. And I'm not saying start with something traumatic. Just what is something that seems so, it makes you feel like, oh my God, this is ridiculous, but you still hang on to it. What is something? Pick one thing. Not that I'm saying you have many, but pick one thing that you can just sit with for a moment and breathe through. It's a practice. Breathe through it, because as soon as you think about it, the odds are really good that feelings, thoughts are going to come up. That's okay. But don't fall into them. Don't let the feelings and the thoughts take you over. Just honor them, look at them, feel them, and let them flow away. And just look at this situation, this experience that you had, that you've been carrying, this sensation, this feeling, this angst, this discomfort. Breathe through it and look at it for what it really, really was. Most likely, there was someone else involved in creating that discomfort. Don't pass the blame on to that person, because once you pass blame, if you pass blame, you're still not taking responsibility. But know that that occurrence, just like mine, had nothing to do with me. Boy, I made it all about me, but it had nothing to do with me. It was that occurrence belonged to that person, but I took it as my own, and I've held on to it as my own for a long time. You might be too. When someone else, or you, or me, when we react, say, do, behave, whatever, in a particular way, it's about how we have experienced our life. How we react is how we've experienced our life. What has happened to us? And God knows, as humans, we hang on to that rough stuff and let it cloud the good stuff. It's time we switch that up. What occurred to make me feel the way that I did? And it didn't make me, I chose to feel that way. And that's really what it's all about. We choose, we say, oh, well, they made me feel this way. No, I take it on, you take it on, we take it on, we choose to feel a certain way. I know, trigger, you're probably getting upset, probably don't want to listen anymore, but it's the truth. We choose how we're going to feel, how we're going to react. So how might we respond or not respond instead? It's a choice. I have chosen to carry this, hung right onto it, real tight. But enough is enough. Enough is enough. So something that small, that you can recognize those feelings when they come up. And as soon as they start to come up, just breathe, just look at your breath. And look at that situation. Look at whoever was involved in the situation. And remember, they're holding their conditioning as well. That space of seeing and feeling, and then looking at the space they were in, knowing that they have their own, that space in between is compassion. It's understanding that they have their own stuff too. Doesn't make everything, it doesn't excuse everything, doesn't make everything acceptable or right, but allows space to just, again, breathe and know that we all have practicing to do if we want to live in more peace within ourselves, to have more calm, to have better health, to have better relationships, to have more joy, calm, clarity, all of it. And there's a saying that goes, you hear in entrepreneurship and in business, do the work. What does that mean, to do the work? And I've said it many times, I've done the work. I've done so much work. Well, it's really, and it really hit me big time this morning. It really is a practice. We put a tough sensation on the word work, like it's a nasty thing, and it isn't. Work is valuable. Work is honorable. Work is work. But practice is also honorable. And to me, it has a little bit more ease to it. It allows us that space of, oops, had a little setback, had a little, I call it a review process. So I had a little review process today, but I'm going to pick up I'm staying in my practice. I'm coming right back into my practice. So it gives you the space of compassion with yourself. Hopefully, if you're in my circle and you know that I have been practicing, that when I have a misstep or review process, that you have compassion for me and know that I am remaining in my practice. But there are missteps, not failures. You know, if we do nothing, if we choose to dump the practice altogether and just quit, I don't know, do we really want to call that a failure? Failure is another word that's just, it's really, we have a tough mental process around that as well, a tough definition to it. But I suppose if we just quit and we choose to remain, let's be honest, in suffering, in the hard stuff, well, maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know. Maybe it's just not being ready to do the practice, for ready to step out of the crud that causes us discomfort, that causes us stress, exhaustion, overwhelm. How we move through these things, we carry these things, is exactly what it leads to, an extreme amount of stress, because this stuff affects everything that we see going forward in our day, week, month, years, life. So again, just pick one, look at it, feel those feelings and thoughts, look at them, don't dive into them, don't let them take you over. Just notice, let them flow out, continue to breathe, and then ask yourself, first of all, remind yourself it is no longer real. It's not happening in this moment or today. If it is, that's another conversation. But are you ready to let it go? Is enough enough? Is it really serving you to hang on to it? And I will remind you, if you are a mom, if you have children, we don't want to pass that stuff on to our children. And if you don't have children, you're still a mother of this world. You're still a mother of this world, this planet, and you still have your gifts to share with this world and everyone else. So that energy and the examples, the way that you want to inspire others, that's still mothering in my book. That's still mothering. So if you'd like to discuss this any further, one-on-one, have a conversation, feel free to please reach out to me at kmyourlifeyourway@gmail.com. You can also find my Facebook private group if you'd like to join that group for more discussion, which is also Kathleen McDermott, Your Life, Your Way. There is a private group. There's also a business page, but join us in the private group if you'd like to, just continue conversations. And I hope your day is as stressless as possible. If you're in a place of a lot of stress, exhaustion, and overwhelm, or you're teetering on an edge, or if you just don't want to end up to that point, that you can see it coming, because that's life, but it doesn't really have to be. I also have a small program that includes restorative yoga to help you just find that stillness and quiet to come back to yourself and allow your nervous system and all the rest of the internal organs in your mind and your spirit to just calm and relax and get out of that fight or flight mode. That is something we can also talk about. So thank you for listening. I love and appreciate, and I'm so honored that you're a part of the Your Life, Your Way community. I will most likely have a part 3 in this segment of being yourself. Enjoy your day. Make it fantabulous. And I wish you much peace and many blessings. Thank you very much. Have a great day.